I'll start with a bit of context on 5V and kind of what we do, why we think you should definitely be including mid-market private equity in your portfolio. And then what I'll do is just tell 3 stories, I think outside of data, to kind of really illustrate what we mean by mid-market private equity. So to start with, a little bit of context. You would have seen this data a lot. You know, private equity folk getting up in front of you, talking about 2,000 listed companies, give or take, and the vast opportunity we have in private markets. I think the context is real though. Haircut this data, halve the 18,000 private companies that private equity managers are targeting, and you still have a really rich opportunity set. And I think the thing that frustrates us sometimes is the words private equity kind of overcomplicating what we believe to be a really attractive and simple concept. And yes, kind of illustrated by the Biopack Cup, but this idea of creating wealth by investing in private companies and SMEs, and those companies being profitable, cash generative, having lots of growth prospects, but really being in front of you every day, whether it's your IT services provider, the education institute you went to, the software you use to manage your team. These are private companies, they exist in Australia, and we can create wealth by partnering with them. The other thing I'd be hesitant not mentioning is a massive tailwind in this mid-market category is the generational transfer of wealth. I think, one thing is great, Justin, you've got a huge opportunity set in terms of private companies. The other thing, which you all know way better than me, is there is a generational transfer of wealth going on, and that is really a tailwind that, not just 5V, but many mid-market private equity managers are benefiting from. We are continually meeting founders, families, entrepreneurs that are looking for de-risking, to take wealth off the table, to have a solution partner for their family not being able to run a business. Like, these are real life issues that we are helping people solve through our mandate. All right, and so the first story, Biopack. Gary Smith is an exceptional serial entrepreneur. He founded a business called Biopack in Bondi. It was the first mover in sustainable packaging here in Australia and New Zealand, but the business has grown exponentially. So, our thesis in terms of meeting Gary was, number one, it's a partnership. Here is a founder. The company generates over $20 million of profits and cash generation. We like that dynamic. Gary's coming to us as a founder for expertise to help him expand his business. So he had clearly kind of demonstrated success in Australia and New Zealand, and we're helping him extract a lot more growth internationally. So our benefit is we plug into Gary, he gains a lot of bandwidth in terms of our team and resources, and he can really lean into this international leg of growth. But what I don't want you to take from that is that we're taking venture risk or backing a startup. This is a large, profitable, cash-generative business. There's 5 billion pieces of compostable packaging delivered by Biopack annually. We have removed, and we've done a lot of work on this, over 22,000 tons of plastic from the economy. So, it's not a small business with a lot of venture risk. We're taking a position next to Gary, and we're driving meaningful impact. And it's a clear example of the types of opportunities that are there in front of you, kind of whether you're drinking coffee or having Uber Eats. Now, this machine is a cyclotron. So for those of us who are not radiochemists in the room, I certainly am not, a cyclotron is used to create a radioisotope. And a radioisotope is a key component of what is used in the fastest growing type of camera used to diagnose cancer, which is called a PET scan. Here in Australia, there's something like 18 cyclotrons, so Good news is we've got a really thriving cancer care industry that's well invested, and we're able to improve diagnosis by supplying these types of diagnosis tools. But this is a private company based in Melbourne that owns 9 of those 18 cyclotrons, that generates over $15 million of profit and cash generation, and has existed for over 20 years. It's owned by one individual called Greg Santamaria. And why did 5V get involved? Well, Greg, he had a partner. That partner was looking to de-risk an age and stage where they wanted some liquidity in their life to take cash off the table. And Greg wanted us to facilitate that transition. So again, a key example of a great private business. It has a reason for being. It's existed for a long time. It's got some great growth prospects as cancer care evolves and improves. And the dynamic in terms of us helping Greg facilitate a transaction for his partner was there. But really, like the stats on the slide are just here to provide you with some context of scale. This is a business that 180,000 patients interact with. We manufacture 4,000 doses per week. So it's really an operation of scale, and it's both in Australia and New Zealand. So hopefully, as I'm talking through this, you can kind of understand, certainly our passion for partnering with these founders and families and entrepreneurs, and just the kind of scale of opportunity and kind of businesses hiding in front of you every day. And that is really why 5V exists. I mean, our go-to-market, kind of our reason for being is to be the #1 partner of choice for these founders. So, we never claim to be sector experts or operators of these businesses, but if there is a founder or family looking to go after growth, to protect their legacy, to help their family build succession in a business, that is why we exist. And there are plenty of those businesses out there. And so with that mandate, we have now grown to manage kind of over $2.5 billion in funds. We've been going since 2016. We've got a team of 40 that help us do that permanently in Australia and New Zealand, but 70% of our portfolio has global operations. I think the term active investing in our space covers a lot of things. And we're only able to drive that active management by the partnership dynamic, by having a real seat at the table and assisting that founder to target growth. I think the other important thing is that, I have certainly found as the dialogue of private equity has progressed, there is a lot of nuance, right? There are very many different flavors to private equity. And our particular flavor, and where we think most of the opportunity is in growth. So we are not cost out professionals. We're not restructuring people. We don't make our returns by pumping leverage into businesses. It's really old-fashioned growth that we target and believe there is a significant amount of opportunity to do that. I think finally, and it's really important to me and our team, and I think broader stakeholders, is we're a B Corp. We're the first B Corp certified private equity manager. It's not the golden solution to ESG, but certainly it provides us with a way to track that 5V is having a sustainable impact to our team, to our communities, to our investors, to the environment. How do we measure that and make sure we're held accountable? And that was B Corp for us. So I'll leave you with, we're extremely excited by this kind of mid-market opportunity. Hopefully you're getting a sense of how big it is, and I think how underpenetrated it is by private capital. We have hopefully illustrated kind of by some real life companies what we actually do. I think a lot of people try and overcomplicate the private equity mandate. And the real awesome thing is that the Horizons Fund kind of allows people to get involved in this asset class, and we think you should consider it in your portfolio. So thank you.